Hey patrons, Sheea here from Maui. And for those of you who haven't checked out my website yet, you might want to do that. It's pretty fascinating. There's a lot of information on there. So if you want to know what my training has been through the years, I do need to update it because I'm always adding things to my repertoire of tools. And but there's plenty on there already. It gives you an idea of where I come from and who I've been trained with and whatnot. It gives all that information as well as, like has all the testimonials on there. There's a page for each of these things, and there's a page for couples and newlyweds, and a page for Christians, like Tantra for Christians. There's a page that has the pricing on it and the choices listed and the upgrades and choices. And picture photo gallery. There's also a place where you can actually purchase access to some photo galleries. One's a pinup one and one's a nude one. For those of you who are interested, can reach out and do that if you wish. And what else? Yeah, there's a contact page that has all my social media on it, and there's also a page for goddesses and sessions for goddesses. So anyway, there's a lot of information on there, as well as my original Facebook page, which is under my original name, Sheea Beth Shafer, has plenty of info on there too, as far as my background and details and all that good stuff. So you might want to check it out. They're pretty fun. And let's see, what do I want to share with you today? Oh yes, there's a lot of good things astrologically happening. And one of the things that just happened is that the north-south node just switched, and that doesn't happen very often, like every 2 years. We were in Gemini Sag, and now we moved into, this past week, in January, it moved into Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node. So I personally have noticed a big difference in that. I noticed my nervous system really calming down, and almost like the Taurus kind of just grounded. Taurus is known for being sensual, and of course I love that part of myself, so I welcome any more of that. I love feeling yummy all the time, and that's kind of how it feels. And Taurus also represents money. It's like the symbol of the stock market, and so there's going to be a lot of good things when it comes to money coming through this year, in the way of sustenance from the government to make up for what has happened and us being overtaxed and just COVID and stuff, and just, breaking that debt system we were in where, it was kind of made us go into survival mode, a lot of us. And then the South Node is Scorpio now, so that represents things that are leaving and going away. So that means all the secrecy, the poison, the deceit, or the stinging, constant stinging from the old elite regime, so that's all moving out, and a lot of it's been taken care of, and they haven't revealed that yet. They don't want to freak people out, so they're very careful about what they reveal. But there is going to be quite a lot of revealing, because Scorpio is, kind of more about secrecy and that kind of thing, and that's going out the window. So there's going to be disclosures around what's really going on, and you might be surprised, depending where you are in your evolution, if you're not familiar with what's really going on behind the scenes, between what they're calling the Alliance, which is the good guys, and then they sometimes call them the black hats or whatever. It's just the old regime that's been running things for hundreds of years, and they kind of infiltrated every system of our society to the point where it's a lot of stuff was just working against us, from our food to our medical system and so forth. And And, you know, I'm aware too that like a lot of movie stars and famous people and rock stars, you know, kind of really honestly did sell their souls in order to become famous. Through this old regime was definitely in charge of Hollywood, and there was just so much corruption in there. And it's kind of shocking. And I think they were intermingled with, you know, some real true like stars that maybe didn't abide by those rules and said, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to sell my soul. I don't want to do a contract and feel like I'm owned. But most of them were. So just fascinating, right? So, you know, it's interesting how in our culture we kind of have this ooh and ah vibe around movie stars and rock stars. But in all honesty, they're slaves to that old regime who promised to give them fame and to set them up for the illusion of, you know, their fame, even though sometimes I'd be like, why is that person famous? I don't really get it. She's not even really that pretty, or I don't really like her personality, or, you know, whatever. I'm sure we've all had those thoughts like, I wonder why he got famous, because he just seems like a normal dude or what. I don't know, that's not as talented as I think some people out there. And that's why, because they know how to make people famous if they want to, and if they were willing to sell their soul for it, then it would happen. So I think there's going to probably be some amount of disappointment around the fact that some people we thought, or that seemed like bright lights, weren't necessarily. They were working behind the scenes and doing things that were out of integrity and whatnot. So it's going to probably get a little bit shocking at times, and people will be disappointed maybe if they really were a big fan of someone. But I have a feeling that there's going to be a complete turnover of entertainers in the music and the movie industry in a whole, which makes room for true talent, right, to come through and have an honest chance, actually, instead of having to sell their soul. I think, you know, a lot of the old ones are going to be in trouble for what they've done, and so it's going to make a lot of space for new stars to rise up and take those places. And of course, everything's going to be run by different leadership, you know, that's clean instead of that old system. And so that's the beauty of it. And that's true in every industry. Medical, educational, even religions are going to get cleaned up, because we're going to get really clear on what's true and what's not. And there's going to be lots of disclosure coming out repeatedly and constantly, probably for years. So anyway, be prepared for that, and know that I love you, and I will look forward to seeing you on our next video.